karma, I mean that it is the universe's way of keeping things in check, whether it takes 5 minutes or 5 years. You know, I did not exactly grow up with silver spoons and all that jazz. My parents passed away when I was just a teen, leaving me to fend for myself. It was a rough start, to say the least. After their passing, I bounced around from one foster home to another, never really finding a place that felt like home. Once I aged out of the foster care system, I had to figure out how to survive on my own. I took whatever job I could get, usually low-paying jobs that barely paid the bills. But life has a funny way of throwing bricks at you, and one day, I found myself jobless with no savings to rely on. Rent was due, and there I was, stuck between a rock and a hard place. I could not keep up with the rent, so I packed up my stuff and ended up living in my old beat-up car. Homelessness was not something I'd ever imagined for myself. After 2 months on the streets, I was at my lowest point. Each day was a struggle, just trying to find food and shelter. But then, amid all that darkness, I met Edgar. Edgar's life was not a walk in the park either. He lived in this tiny one-room apartment with his mom, and they were both working their tails off to make ends meet. Our stories were pretty similar, and we were both trying to keep our heads above water. Fate brought us when I got a job together at Chick-fil-A where we both worked, and that's where our journey began. Our story is not your typical love story with fancy dates and all those nice things. We were both in survival mode, and we leaned on each other for support. Instead of dating, we focused on helping each other out. We wanted to break free of the cycle of financial struggle that had defined our lives for so long. We were both determined to get ahead and build a better future. Our mantra became simple: learn, grow, and persevere. Edgar found a job that offered better opportunities and a higher income. I, too, started landing more stable positions that aligned with my career goals. Our finances improved, and we started saving diligently. One of our proudest moments came when we finally had enough savings to buy our first house together. My mother-in-law, Maya, also moved in with us. So there we were, in our cozy home, making our dreams come true. One day, the much-awaited thing happened. Edgar popped the big question, and in the funniest and sweetest way possible. He held a Chick-fil-A sandwich with a ring in a box.
Lauren, you know we have been through it all. From those days when we struggled just to get by to now, owning this beautiful house together. Remember that time when we were working the late shift at Chick-fil-A and you made the biggest milkshake mess ever? Moments like that one, the laughter in the middle of chaos, made me fall for you even more.
And speaking of falling for each other, remember that night when we closed the restaurant together? It was pouring rain, and we shared an umbrella on our way to your tiny apartment.
I do. We were drenched, but somehow it felt like the most romantic moment ever. Lauren, every day with you has been a treasure. From Chick-fil-A to this moment. So, will you marry me and make the rest of my days just as special?
Oh my God, baby, absolutely, yes. Maya, my mother-in-law, and I never quite clicked. It was like mixing oil and water. Our exchanges were few, conversations awkward, and an unspoken tension always lingered even though we lived under the same roof. When Edgar proposed to me, I was elated beyond words. But when we shared the news with Maya, it was as if we dropped a bomb. Maya's face contorted, and her lips tightened to a thin line. She looked at us as though we had committed some unforgivable sin.
Edgar, can I talk to you in private? Sure, Mom. I will be back, honey.
Maya and Edgar headed into the next room, and even though I tried not to be nosy, their voices were loud, making it hard not to overhear. I could not resist the urge to find out Maya's thoughts since she was soon going to be my mother-in-law.
Look, Edgar, when you were dating her, I kept my lips sealed. But marrying her? I'm scratching my head here. Back when you two first met, we were not rolling in riches. But now that you have a good life, she's the one you want to settle down with? I mean, think this through, son. She's been through some tough times, and we have never had to deal with homelessness.
Mom, you are missing the bigger picture. Lauren and I have been each other's everything in ways you can't imagine. It's not about her past. It's about what we've built together and the love we share.
Well, I hope you're not jumping the gun. I can't help but wonder if she's a good match for our family. She doesn't come from the same background as you. At least you had a mom and a roof over your head at all times. You really don't know what these homeless people are like. The things they have done, the places they have been. It's not a world you're familiar with. I can't help but wonder if Lauren is just trying to entrap you in this marriage. You know, not everyone out there is as genuine as they seem.
Mom, you need to understand something. Homeless people are still people. They are human beings who have been faced unimaginable hardships. And guess what? Both of us could have ended up in their situation with just a few strokes of bad luck.
From that conversation Edgar had with Maya, I could not help but feel like she had strong reservations about me. It was evident that she did not approve of our relationship, and it stung. But I knew I could not let her disapproval affect my love for Edgar. We had made a decision, and we were going to go through with it. The big day rolled around, and despite Maya's reservations, we said our vows, promising to stick by each other's side. It was a beautiful day, full of love and happiness. Just a month into our marriage, I had another monumental piece of news, something that would reshape our lives. I was pregnant. I remember the day I shared the news with Edgar. He was so full of joy. We were in a stable position in our lives, with savings and a good income. There couldn't have been a more perfect time for this baby to come into our world. Little did I know that along with this pregnancy, Maya would bring hell upon me. It was like she went out of her way to make my life miserable. Instead of the support and happiness I expected during this life-altering moment, she piled on emotional abuse like it was her job. Maya's mood was down in the dumps right from the get-go after we shared the news of my pregnancy.
Mom, we wanted to share some news with you. Lauren is pregnant. We're going to have a baby in this house.
Yes, we are really excited.
Pregnant already? Well, I guess that is what happens when you rush into things. Just don't tell me there's going to be a little one out of this girl's womb running around here in this house soon.
Come on, Mom. Not right now. Why the hell would you say that? I remember how excited you have always been at the thought of being a grandmother. You can even start your knitting again and make some warm clothes for the baby.
Well, not when the mother of the child is someone like Lauren. I would prefer to keep my distance from the baby.
Mom, I thought you would be happy about this.
Lauren, it's about time you stopped calling me Mom. I have been meaning to tell you this. I'm Edgar's mom, not yours. Anyway, I have to meet up with some ladies from the club for tea. Goodbye.
During the first trimester of my pregnancy, life seemed easier. Edgar would head off to work, leaving me at home with Maya. Those days were anything but pleasant. Maya didn't miss an opportunity to taunt me or give me the cold shoulder, making it clear that she didn't approve of me or my baby.